This is Hanging with Hayes. We're non-professionals, talk about life, and I'm here with Tori today. We
Hello.
are TikTok friends. How's it going?
It's good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm very not. I'm so not like geared up and ready for this. Like thinking about this morning, I was like, oh my God, I have to. You're my first guest, so that's exciting, but also
Well, I'm honored.
thank you. I'm really glad that you had the the chance to do this with me. So
Yeah.
I figured we can just like chit chat first and then we can go into more like nitty gritty details and just kind of hang out together and just talk about like what it's like being on the road. And because I don't know that life. So like you have a different like perspective of that kind of life. I don't know anything about that. So I think it'll be kind of cool to hear what you guys have been doing and how you guys navigate all that together. So, okay. So I do want to know how you and Wilson met, if you want to give me that story.
Okay, so in 2020, very early 2020, Wilson and I both went to the same trade program. We both tried college and dropped out, so it's just like, you know, everything happens for a reason. So
Mm-hmm.
he was in the welding program and I was in the construction program. Sorry. So
It's
obviously,
okay.
I
I'm
like.
telling you, it's like the most.
I know it's so well. This is different. I'm like, our live was
It's
like
very different.
whatever, and we were like answering people's comments, but
I know.
so yeah. So anyway, so obviously I noticed him, but he used to park at the back of the parking lot, and I would like peek at his truck like at the end of the day when I would go to my car, and then he moved his truck, and he was parking right where I was parking every day, like right in front.
Uh-huh.
And then he would, like, as soon as I pulled up and would be like getting out of my car, that's when he would get out of his truck, and he'd be walking a little bit ahead of me. And every day for like a few days, he would hold the door open for me. Yeah, and that's a huge thing for me, is like holding the door open.
Yeah.
That's absolutely what I want. And then finally, I was eating my lunch outside, and we had lunch at different times too. So like, it was pretty rare that we overlapped or saw each other. And his class got out, I want to say like half an hour before mine. So I was eating my lunch. I was eating a salad outside by myself, and I was eating outside because it was sunny that day. It was spring, so it was starting to get warm out. And everyone else was inside or whatever, but I just wanted to sit outside in the sun. And
Yeah.
just got back from, I think they like went somewhere for lunch, him and his friend. So he'd just gotten back, and like his lunch was about to end, and he walked right up to me, and I could see him coming, so I'm like, smiling. And I want to say I said like, I like your truck or something like that, I didn't know what to
Yes.
say. And he was like, you look lonely. And I was like, I'm not lonely. So then we just got to talking, and then he had to go back to his class. Well, at the end of the day, I went to the bathroom, and his class happened to be getting out, and I didn't plan that. I just had to go to the bathroom, and his class was getting out, and so like as we passed in the hall, he was like, "Hey, I forgot to grab your number." So he grabbed my number, and we only went to school for a month and 2 days, and then COVID, hit, and so it got shut down. It was supposed to be a 6 month
Oh
long.
my God.
So we met. I want to say it was a Monday or Tuesday. We started texting like that night, and he said something about how he wanted to go 4-wheeling, and because it had been a while. And then he was like, "What are you doing this weekend?" And I said, "Going 4-wheeling with you." And for me, like, that's crazy to like go to a stranger's house who you just met.
Me too. I would be.
Right. To me, I'd be like, absolutely. But there was something like, I don't know, there was something that like drew me to him, that I just felt like I needed to go, And so that was our first date. We went 4-wheeling that Saturday. We went to lunch. And then the following Monday at school, that was our last day at school, and it got shut down. So then
I have chills all over my body. That's crazy.
Yeah. So we happened to meet like right before it all happened, and it was just crazy. So then, we had dates like
And what
hiking.
did you do during COVID though? Like
we went hiking and stuff. There's a lot of waterfalls and stuff by us, so we would go hiking because then you could be outside, so it was okay. Yeah, and we did that for a little over a month, and then things started to like lean up a little bit.
Oh my God.
But
That's
yeah.
insane. I mean, that is like perfect timing too,
Yeah.
considering like what
So
are the odds? Like,
we grew up an hour apart, but he lives only like 20 to 30 minutes from my grandma's house. And he goes north a lot, up north of New York. It's like lakes and mountains. And so he goes up north a lot, and his family does a lot of like woods work up there.
yeah.
So the road that he takes up north, he passes my grandma's road. He's probably passed her road thousands of times. And I grew up going to my grandma's house all the time. Like we went four-wheeling at my
You
grandma's
probably
house.
passed him all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy.
That's insane.
And it's weird too, because like going to my grandma's house was my absolute favorite thing ever. And that felt like home to me. So so it's like to be drawn to him, and then him to live so close to my family, and him to like
That's a
automatically feel like
weird,
home.
yeah.
Yeah. It was very weird feeling. My mom's side of the family that lives, really close to his family. My aunt bought her property from them because they buy and sell land. And then my uncle, I think, had built like a cabin for them at one point or something. He did like some very short work for them. So like, I don't know, for me to like meet him years later is just so weird. Because they all knew the name. As soon as I said his last name, they were all like, we know that name.
That is creepy.
Yeah.
Also, well, thinking about that now, when I was growing up, my mom and my aunt, we would all go to this, it was a fashion show. It was like a fundraiser fashion show that this group would put on every single year. I think it went on for like 30 years or so, 20 years, something. It was a long time. I had gone to that since I was like 8 years old, and Zach's mom and grandma and aunt would go to that every single year. I know I saw them like somewhere. Like that is just so weird. And Zach was 20 minutes away from my home, like growing up. So it's, that's another thing. It's just so creepy how that stuff happens. And then later on, you're looking at it like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Share any memorable moments or funny anecdotes from your early days starting dating Wilson.
Okay, so I have one story, and it kind of goes back to like the COVID thing. So, it's funny now, but like at the time, it's probably not. But his dad didn't want them seeing anyone, and like I said, they all work in the woods for the most part, so they were safe. Like they didn't really have to worry about working in an office building with a bunch of people. Mm-hmm. So we would go hiking and stuff as our dates, but his dad didn't really want anyone seeing someone. So he would always tell his dad that he was going for a drive. Well, his dad always said he had a suspicion, but because like who goes for a drive that long in the evening after work by yourself? So we went to one of his dad's hunting properties.
How long did he do that? Like hide you, I guess.
It was about a month. At least it was like a month and a week. Yeah.
He didn't want to bring me around his family. He was like, no.
Really?
He's like, I just need to make sure you're good. Like, okay.
Well, I mean, I guess like you don't want to introduce them on the first day. Although our first day, I met his dad because it was at his dad's house. Like that's where we went for.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
So it wasn't like, I don't know. We hardly said any. We just were introduced and that was it. Like there wasn't.
Yeah.
I didn't like sit down for dinner with them, but
right.
Yeah. Anyway, so we went to one of our like hikes. We went to one of his dad's hunting property, and we just walked around like in the woods. I was fascinated because he was telling me what some of the trees are, and like my grandpa was a logger, so I didn't know what the trees were, but like for him to be teaching me, it kind of felt like sentimental,
Yeah, that is. I'm a huge sap person with that kind of stuff, so I get that.
Yeah. So about a week later, and you posted that thing about your grandpa too, and that's the grandpa I'm talking about.
That really.
Yeah. So about a week later, I know. About a week later, his dad sent him a picture, and it was 2 footprints at his hunting property, and his dad said Bigfoot, Littlefoot. And Wilson like denied it and everything.
He's like, "You're caught." That's hilarious.
He was like, no. And his stepmom too. She was like, "I believed you." Once they found out, she was like, "I believed you that whole time that you like," because he was like, "No, that's not from me." And she was like, "I can't believe that." And his dad was like, "No, I had a feeling. I knew."
You're like, yeah, I'm very aware.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Oh my God.
So Bigfoot, Littlefoot is our funny story there.
That is really cute.
Oh.
I realized that I didn't this morning and I was like,
Oh, I actually have another one.
okay.
Oh yeah, I read your thing over, but I didn't like sit down and be like, what should I say?
No. And that was, I really want it to be more like organic, but like I want you to like have a heads up of what you're talking about. And I was just like,
true.
I don't know.
Oh, another thing too, when we first met, when he walked up to me outside, he told me that he was 18 and I was 21 at the time. And I was like,
how old was he?
I was like, you're 18?
He is that much younger than you, right?
Yeah, he's 2.5 years younger. But
okay,
I was like,
that's right.
I was like, oh my goodness, I'm 21. And I don't know, when I first started telling my mom about it too, I was like, I would never go for a younger guy, but I don't know. I just like had a feeling. It was so weird, but I was like, holy, I'm already 21.
He seems younger than you, honestly. You guys seem like the same age, or he seems older than you.
And that's the thing. He's very mature for his age, so.
He is. He has a very old soul. Like, that's what he kind of gives, like, Granted, I've heard him talk, like, twice, but the way you, like, talk about him makes me feel like he has an old soul.
He's definitely an old soul, 100%. Like, our wedding song, he wants to be an old song. You know, like.
That's cute.
He's just a very old soul. But anyway, so I was already 21, and my parents did not let me spend the night with a boy. And like
my parents didn't either. I understand that.
And my sister too, like when she was 21, she was engaged and they still wouldn't let her spend the night at her fiance's house. Yeah, they were pretty strict. So
like, you have to be married. I mean,
yeah, they were very strict about it. And like when he started, because we both worked near where my parents' house was, and his parents' house was an hour away. So we would stay a lot of times during the week at my parents' house, and he had to sleep in the guest rooms. I mean, I always snuck in there, but
hold up.
But that's kind of like my story. So about a month into us dating, it was his birthday weekend, and I wanted to stay at his house because like they were having a party or whatever. And so I told my parents that we were up in the Adirondacks, which is those lakes and mountains I was talking about. So I was, because they have a camp up there, and so I was like, yeah, we're spending the weekend at the camp, and that they're fine with, like, oh, you're going away, like that's fine. But for me to stay at his house,
but are you in the same tent?
I mean,
like mom and dad, what the hell?
Assume, but. So yeah, I told them that first weekend. Oh yeah, that first weekend I told them that that we were up at his camp, even though we were at his parents' house. And then the weekend after that, they finally like gave in. They were like, "Well, I guess we realized that if you were still in college, you'd be living on your own and be able to do whatever you want." So we were like, they were like, "I guess it's okay." So a week later, they let me stay at his house.
Parents and logic. Oh my God, that cracks me up. My parents were super strict about that too. Like, I get it. Yeah. I do. But like, oh my God, sometimes I was like, Mom.
Yeah. Yeah. I always stayed at a friend's house growing up, like my best friend's house. I would stay at her house because her mom was much more chill. Like she had a midnight curfew, whereas like
oh my God, mine was like 9.
Yeah, same. Mine too.
Yeah, I remember my first serious boyfriend. He was late by 1 minute. I didn't see him for a month.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, a whole month. I was like, oh my God. And my dad's like, I said 9. You were here at 9:01. 9:01 ain't 9 o'clock, boo boo. And I'd be like, oh my God. Okay.
You know that song, Cleaning This Gun?
Yeah.
That's I picture like your dad on the front porch.
Yeah, that was my dad. Very much my dad. Yep. Bad. Like 100% my father. That is my dad. And I remember he was like, oh, I'm going to tell him that I'm cleaning my gun or whatever. And I'm like, no, you're not. My dude, you are not doing that. Like that is embarrassing. You're an embarrassing person. And he's like, nope, that's what I'm going to say. And he said it. And I'm like,
parents love to embarrass.
They do. And it's funny now. I love My dad's sense of humor is just, he is a goofy, goofy man. And I love my dad. And I think the older I get, the more I appreciate his goofy humor because obviously you're embarrassed so much when you're a little kid. He embarrassed the shit out of me as a child.
They
My
just
dad
love it.
learned how to play the harmonica and he would walk around town, like we'd go somewhere and he'd just have it in his pocket. He'd pull it out and start playing it. I was mortified by that. Mortified. But now I think it's cool. I'm like, you do you, dad. Like, that's fine, whatever. And like other people are just, that's so cool that he could do that. And he goes, really? That's really the only instrument you could really do that with. And I was like, you're right. You're right.
Oh my
So
goodness.
stupid. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Mortified. So tell me about your renovations on your RV. I know you've been making lots of videos about it. I love seeing those videos. They're so sad.
They're so fun to make. Honestly, they've been like the most fun videos I've ever made.
I bet they are because they're fun to watch and I love them. And every time you pull up carpet, I'm like, yeah, girl, get it.
I got she go good. That's what everyone loves. I've been called Bob the Builder Tori now. Demo Queen.
Oh my God, shut up.
Yeah.
Bob the Builder.
Well, most people don't realize though that I did go to construction trade school and I did work for a remodeling company for almost 2 years.
Oh, we're remodeling. Oh, I didn't know that. That's really cool.
That's where I get all the skills because like everyone's commenting, they're like, oh my goodness, I want to do this, but I don't even know how or where to start or anything. And I'm like,
well, honestly, half the time when I'm watching those videos, I'm like, did you YouTube that? I don't know how to do that shit. So I start laughing. I'm like, damn, girl, you are so good at
No, but YouTube actually does help. YouTube and TikTok. And that's why I'm like making the videos of it too, because then people can like learn or like get help. You know?
That is true. That is true. Yeah. Because I mean, that's what I use TikTok for search engine. I don't even Google things hardly anymore. Which is probably not a good thing.
No, seriously though. Everyone's always like, check TikTok. TikTok knows.
Yeah. Like any kind of new recipe, I'm going to TikTok. I'm not going anywhere else. I used to do Pinterest, but now it's like just TikTok.
I've seen so many people worried about losing their recipes. That's a whole nother story.
Yes. Dude, that would make me mad. That would piss me.
Yeah. Although a lot of times I'll save a recipe and then like never go back to it because I forget about it.
I know. I do that same stupid shit. And like, are you talking about Pinterest or are you talking about TikTok?
I was talking about TikTok, but Pinterest, the same thing. I've got like 100 recipes saved that I haven't made.
Oh my God. I think Pinterest is worse than TikTok though for that because I have stuff that I saved like 14 years ago on Pinterest. I haven't fucking looked at it again. But TikTok, I have them all in little categories and I literally look at all of them. Like I actually utilize the save button.
Wait, you can put them into categories?
Oh yeah, girl. Oh yeah. There's a little hold on. I can't tell you what it is without looking at it first. So under your saved, there's a collections. You can create a new collection.
Are you kidding me?
And yeah, it's the bomb. I need to put more things in there because I have 753 saved things. Yeah, it's a lot. But I have one for, health and I have workouts, I have food, lots of food. But yeah, it's when I found that out on TikTok, I was like, no.
Well, yeah, because I know that Instagram has it. Mm-hmm. But I had no idea.
It's basically the same thing as saved, like oh my God, I almost knocked my water over. I would have shit my pants if that fell over. Okay, breathe.
Yeah, I'm gonna start.
Okay, my heart rate came down. You need to. It's the bomb. I love it. Did you find it? Your favorite. It's under your saved.
That's awesome.
Discuss the challenges and rewards of Discuss the challenges and rewards of renovating your RV without having to, I guess, pay somebody to do it.
Yeah. So there's a lot of controversy. There's a lot of controversy around renovating a camper.
Why?
Some people says that it devalues your camper. Some people says that it increases the value. So
Why would it decrease it? When aren't you upping the appeal?
yeah, exactly. Some people, well, I guess it depends on, like, if you're going to trade in your camper to a dealership, a lot of times they want the manufactured everything.
That makes sense. But
It
I
makes
guess if
sense
you're
to an
selling it as is as a owner, then
well, yeah, right. Well, if you're going to sell it as like outright, you know, there's a huge benefit to remodeling it because people don't like to look at campers anymore. They look,
no, they look like shit.
yeah, they're so boring and like blah. I don't know, just the way that campers are like designed. They're not homey, I guess you could say.
No, they're not. And
Um,
the way that you guys have done yours just looks so much.
oh my goodness, it feels so much more homey. Like I had no idea that it would make that much of a difference. I was just gonna
And
be like,
even the paint color, I'm just like, mm-hmm,
yeah.
mm-hmm,
It feels so much more like us. I love it now. Like, and it's not that I didn't love our camper before, but like, it always felt like home. But now it's like this is us, you know?
exactly. And I mean, it's a taste of like who you guys are.
Yeah.
It's not just you
And there's a
buy it off the
benefit.
lot.
Like, I will always encourage it because there's a benefit to making your camper your home. If you're going to be living in it and having this camper for however long, even if you just are a camper and just do weekends, like you're buying the camper to own it. Like you're not planning on, oh, I'm gonna get rid of it here in a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're buying it.
That's literally like buying a house and not putting shit on the walls because you might sell it someday.
Right. Exactly. I
Where's the
believe in like
logic in that?
making
Why
it your
would you
own.
want to do that?
Yeah. You need to make it your own. You need to make it livable if you're going to be living in it. Like the storage, you know, our bunk room, I completely made a storage room in my office because,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we can't just, and it took a lot of convincing for Wilson because he was thinking about the resale value the whole time, you know?
Yeah. And how long have you've had it? A year?
We've had it a year, a little over a year. And like we plan to have it for a while too. Eventually a fifth wheel would be nice. But
yeah,
our camper's paid off. I just made it 10 times more homey.
mm-hmm.
It works for us. Like there's no issues. So
there's no reason to change it. If it's working for you, then why change it?
exactly. Like Wilson likes to say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
He's not wrong. That's every man says that all the time.
I know, it's just a guy thing, I think.
I think it is, honestly.
But the only way that I was able to convince him to let me do this was that I paid for it myself and I did the entire thing myself. I was like, I'll do it. You don't have to lift a finger.
And did you do that with all of your TikTok money and all of your Instagram money and all that too?
TikTok did pay for it. And then it paid for itself because the videos of me remodeling it did so well.
I know. Isn't that funny how that works?
Yeah. So I had to tell him.
It's the shit that you post that you're just like, yeah, this ain't going to do good, but it does real good.
Right.
And you're like,
yeah.
Weird. Okay.
So the other like downside, I guess, to remodeling is that not everyone should do it themselves, you know? And I think maybe that's where dealers.
I think it helps that you have your own background in that. That makes it a little better. Like if it were me, I'd have to hire somebody because I'm not inclined like that at all. I could decorate, put some paint on a wall, hell yeah, brother. But anything else, no.
And if I didn't trust myself, maybe I wouldn't have done it because we do plan to sell it someday. But like if you're buying it and you're planning on keeping it forever or living in it for a very, very long time, then you know you get a little paint on something, whatever. But if you're a sloppy painter and you know you're a sloppy painter, maybe don't paint it knowing you're going to be reselling
put that wallpaper on it that sticks to the wall and call it good.
Yeah, and a lot of people do that and it looks amazing. Like I've seen a ton of people do that to their bedrooms.
That wallpaper looks really good. My aunt used it in her house on like one wall in her pantry. It's beautiful. I'm like, this is wallpaper. She's like, yeah. I'm like, God bless. Compared to what it used to look like when I was a kid, that looks nice.
I know, because wallpaper used to be like yucky. Like nobody ever cared to do wallpaper anymore, or like everyone hated it.
And now it's coming back. I mean, it's like everything else that comes back, but it's just I don't know. It's so weird. So weird. Okay. So I know that you are an entrepreneur and you do your own thing, like on the road. tell me what inspired you to start the business that you currently have, and tell me the balance between running a business and traveling, if there's a wild balance between that, which I'm sure there is.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I guess you could say that I have two businesses because TikTok is completely separate from my sticker and
Hmm.
clothing company. Although my
Yeah.
sticker and clothing company right now is only on TikTok, I also make TikTok videos, so like I kind of have two different videos, but I'm
It
thinking
kind of
you're,
mixes together.
yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of does. And that's, I mean, it works out because my business correlates with kind of our lives. And so I'm able to post, you know,
Hmm.
kind of back and
It's
forth between the two.
integrated and married together. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm assuming that you were referring to Green Mile.
Yeah.
So Wilson obviously was the inspiration for Green Mile Supply Co. Um, I tried so many different things to I have a couple here somewhere too, but I tried so many different things on making money online because I wanted to go with him, which I'm sure you would have too. If Zach said, "Hey, I
Hmm.
got to travel for work, I'm going to
Hmm.
get a camper," you would have been like, "Let's
Immediately
go."
would be like, all right, let's go.
Yeah,
Where are we
exactly.
going? Better be warm, motherfucker.
So yeah, I know you guys should just go south.
I
um,
know. I'd be like, you can only accept jobs down south. Okay. That's
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, you would love that.
Oh my God. I'm so cold right now. It's not even funny. It's like 43.
Hey, it's 48 here, so
Oh, really?
yeah.
Dude. No, I'm kidding. It's 36. It
Oh,
was 43 earlier. I was like, okay, this isn't so bad. The sun was out and I was like, okay, but
I don't mean to be off topic, but you're going to be jealous. Yesterday, I was sitting outside in a tank top and shorts. And then this morning, I had to walk the dogs with a winter hat and gloves.
that sucks. That state really is temperamental.
Yeah. Yesterday was nice, though.
Yeah.
I was
As
like,
soon,
wouldn't it be
yeah.
cool
When
if I
I
went
have
home
friends that
and
live there and they're like, it's this temperature. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care.
tan? Yeah. It's been nice for the most part, but I was hoping to come home with a tan for Christmas, but I guess not.
I have to fake tan, but I do have to tan because of lack of vitamin D and my seasonal sadness. Dude, my
uh,
seasonal depression is so bad.
it's bad up north. I mean, New York's bad for it too.
I have friends that live in Washington, and I straight up, she's like, if you came here, she said, you would literally die. I'm like, I know.
See,
She
I
goes,
can't do.
I know Michigan sucks, but Washington is like 1,000 times worse. I'm like,
Yeah, I could not do the rain and the gloominess. Although New York's getting pretty close to that too. New York like rains every other day now.
doesn't it snow like a shit ton too?
Yeah, well, actually, it's starting to melt. Yesterday and today was raining and a little bit warmer, but last week there was a couple feet at least.
Yeah, we literally overnight. What day did it snow?
Was last Monday.
So it snowed really, really bad last Monday, and we got like 9 inches of snow. And then Sunday morning, it was like spring. It was 50 degrees and there was nothing on the ground. I'm like, okay, this is why I have seasonal depression. And then I walked outside and the sun hit my face. And I'm like, I'm a new motherfucker. Like, it's just,
Yep.
I
I just hope
hate it. It makes me mad.
we don't even know like for sure if we get to go home for Christmas yet, but if we do, I'm just like praying that there's gonna be some snow for Christmas.
Oh, yeah. I see. That's the only thing that would bother me about like being south is not having snow for Christmas. But literally, I would only want it for one day and then it can melt.
Yeah, I want it for
That's it.
Christmas. And yeah.
I'm good. I'm good. Um, oh, huh. We got so off topic. I was
Yeah, we
talking about the
did.
business. Duh. Talk about the balance between running a business and traveling.
Oh yes. Okay, so it it can be challenging. Pretty much like everywhere that we move to, I got to change the shipping zip code because I make my own labels, and so you have to like
I do wonder about that. Okay, so that makes that okay, that answers my question because I always wonder that when you like post videos about it, I'm like, how does she? I don't know how it works with campsites, like if you get Amazon packages or
Yeah,
whatever. Oh, that's another good question too.
most campsites allow packages, and if they don't, like you can do a general delivery to the town,
Oh,
um,
okay.
and it
Does it
would
just
get
go to the
delivered.
post office?
Yeah, as long as it's a
Okay.
USPS package, it would go to the post office. But obviously, running a business, like I'm constantly ordering packages between like TikTok Shop affiliate program, and then
Hmm.
also running a sticker and clothing company. I'm constantly ordering packages, so like anywhere we go, I call ahead and I'm like, "Do you allow packages?" Because like that is a must. Obviously, I need to be able to
Yeah.
run my
So if they
business.
don't, do you just go to a different one?
Um, Not always.
Uh,
Like there's been a couple that didn't allow packages, or like there was a one that was gated, and for whatever reason, UPS would go in. Like if you would just put the gate code in the delivery notes,
Yep. Hmm.
UPS had no problem. The post office refused. USPS, like the mailman, refused. Even though it said the code, they just said non-deliverable. And then they would send it to the post office.
Oh,
Yeah, it can be a nightmare. This one that we're at now, actually, I had some difficulty with at first because it was around Prime Day because I ordered a bunch of stuff for Prime Day, and I ordered
of
a brand new
course.
printer too, and so I like had a big cart full, like I had a ton of stuff that was coming, and it all got split up anyways.
That drives me absolutely batshit crazy.
Yeah,
You order it at the same time. That drives me nuts.
right.
I know
Yeah,
it's different vendors, but my God, it drives me insane.
I know. So the first package was marked undeliverable. Well, it was late at night, so I called them back the next morning. I called UPS. Actually, I think I called Amazon first, and then they had told me it was UPS. So I called UPS, which I don't even know why Amazon was using UPS. Maybe because of the busy time of year, but so I called
Oh, that could
UPS
be.
and they said, "Oh, it's already been sent back." And I was like, "You can intercept that. I know you can. Come on." Well, apparently it was
Right.
already sent back. So I had to reorder that. Oh, and I had Prime deals for all of this stuff too, right? So I was frustrated about that. Um, they said that I can either wait until it's refunded and then I can like order replacement, or I can just reorder now and then they can price match once they get the other back. Yeah, it was a whole entire nightmare. So then it
Oh, I would
happened
be pissed.
again. Later that week, it happened again where it was marked undeliverable. And when you like pull into the campsite or the campground, the office is right as soon as you pull into the address, and it says in
Hmm.
massive letters the address.
Office.
Right. So there was no reason that it shouldn't have been that it like couldn't have been delivered. And when I called UPS, they were like, it was missing an apartment number. I'm like, this is not an apartment complex. So then it happened
Oh my
three times that week. 3 times that week, like every other day. They kept trying to deliver it and like kept marking it. And I was like, you need to get rid of this delivery driver. Like, I don't know what is going on. I was like, this is a campground. The office is right there as soon as you drive up to the address.
God. Oh, I'd be pissed. I'd be so.
Yeah, that was the most frustrating week. And I'm not usually one to get mad like on customer service, but I was pretty heated that
Mm-mm.
week.
Hmm. Oh,
Just because it
I'm
kept
very like,
happening.
yes,
I was so mad.
holy shit, that would make me mad. That would make me mad.
Yeah. Now, even if I don't put my campsite, they come to my campsite anyways, just because like they know that they've messed up so many times. They just know me.
They're like, we don't want her to call customer service on us.
Exactly.
So funny. My God. Oh. Okay, so tell me about how you balance like travel with spending with like time with family and friends. Do you even get to go home at all, or is it more of a only on a holiday kind of situation?
uh Sometimes it's not even holiday.
Really?
It's to like live this lifestyle, you have to be okay with spontaneity. Like we still don't know. We're 2 weeks to Christmas and we still don't know if we're going to be going home or not. Most of
Mm-hmm.
these companies won't tell you until the day before or the day of what you're going to be having off for Christmas. Thanksgiving, we did not go home. because we were too far from home. They did have 6 days off, but still, we're 25 hours from home. That's 2 days of driving.
That's too much.
We
There's
would have
no
been
way.
home for 2 days. You know? And like, yeah, we could.
It's not like you can fly. You have dogs. That doesn't work.
Right. And like Wilson thought about it. We even looked into flights, obviously last minute. It was like the week before. And it was going to be like $3,000. What was I saying?
I don't remember.
Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, we didn't get to go home for Thanksgiving. I mean, we see family when we can, but you can't really plan. And the problem is, like, we were certain that we were gonna be able to go home for Christmas. So I already planned some things. I already told family, which was a mistake. I should never ever tell family. And now, like, there's a slight chance that we may not.
Oh.
I mean,
yeah,
Wilson
really sucks.
Still seems to think that we'll be able to. It sounds like, if everything goes how we think, it sounds like we may get 2 weeks off because of where Christmas and New Year's falls, like right in the middle of the week.
Yeah.
Which kind of works out for us.
Yeah, it's really weird this year. Isn't it on Wednesday or something?
Yeah. I want to say it's on Wednesday. Yeah. So it would be nice to have 2 full weeks off because then we've got a lot of driving time. But sometimes it's, like I said, you see family when you can. There was one day that, so it was actually before we left Michigan. We were waiting to like hear about another job, and we were like 8 or 10 hours from home. So we were like, well, instead of just sitting here, you know, there was no reason to be there in Michigan. We were like, let's go home. So we drove home, and then Wilson got a call that next day. So we were literally home for a day, which it was nice. Like, we saw everyone. We made our rounds, you know, like you always have to make rounds when you go home and see everyone. So it worked, but like sometimes that's how it goes. You know, you're home for a day. Sometimes we've been home for a month before waiting.
How long are these jobs? They're like, what, a couple weeks, or are they like
they can range anywhere from a week to years. It just depends on the job that you get on.
Wow.
Yeah. We've been on a lot of jobs that were like a month or 2 months. That's like the average, I want to say, is like 2 months.
Yeah.
We've been here for a couple months now. But it's kind of getting close to Michigan. Like 2.5 months.
Oh my God, I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah.
That really sucks. I really wish you and I would have like figured out how we could have like hung out or something, because I would have driven you.
Or if you were doing this back then, then we could have just done it.
I know. That would have been cool. This is so scary to me. That's You're doing great. I just want you to know you're doing great.
Yeah, well, you're like a natural at all this, so.
Girl, podcasting is different than TikToking.
Yeah.
Because I still struggle with the whole thing of like having to edit it out. And like, I know so many people edit out a lot of stuff, but I'm so used to like trying to Hey, we're gonna have to cut that out. Fred.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Brett gets a countdown like a child. What was I saying? Oh, I'm so used to like short form. So this is so strange to me because it's so much. I can have an actual thought process, and it's not, I have to like condense what I'm trying to say in a minute and some change.
Yeah.
So
it does feel a lot like you're live though, just without the comments.
Very true. Very true. And I think it makes me feel better that you can cut shit out of this.
Yeah.
Versus lives, because like I've said stuff in lives and I'm like,
yeah, you have to be so careful in lives. It's like scary.
I know, because someone said where Zach worked on a live, and I about shit my pants. I was like,
I hate that. I've had people like come into lives and they'll be like, "Where are you? Where are you? Where are you?" I'm like, "I'm not telling you." Like,
no. Like even half the time when people ask me where we are and I'm like Michigan, it still scares me. I'm like, I don't even like telling people Anything other than that. I'd be like Lower Peninsula. That's about it. I'm not anywhere else. I don't live anywhere.
Yeah, because I don't know. You just never know. There's just weirdos out there.
There's definitely weirdos out there. Sorry, Zach texted me about something about a snowmobile.
Or like when someone in your life says something inappropriate, or they're like, "Oh, you're beautiful," and you're just like, "Ugh." Just let me skip that one.
And then Diva, tell me again.
Like, let me just go roll in some dirt.
Mm-hmm.
When I started for my construction company, that's what my boss told me to do. He was like, maybe you should just like roll in some dirt, or like, you know.
Yeah, you're too pretty for that.
Literally. I was like, okay, cool.
I was like, okay, thanks. Do you have any funny or memorable stories from your travels? I'm sure you do, because you've been traveling for a whole year. You got to have something at least.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know about funny, but like we've stayed in a lot of parking lots before, you know, which a lot of people do, but okay, I got one. So when we were going home, we were in the Midwest and we were going home until the next job. So we had, I want to say it was like an 18-hour drive home.
Yeah. Do you guys share driving, or does he just drive?
At that time, I had a car. I had a Ford Explorer.
Oh, okay. You just followed.
Yeah, I ended up getting rid of it just because it didn't really make sense for us to have two vehicles at that time.
No.
But so we were going to rely off his welding machine to run the camper in the parking lot. Well, it was, a bit chilly that night. So his welding machine was gelled up. So we ended up, the parking lot that we were in, we ended up pulling, and we were like right across from a hotel, and we saw a lady going with two dogs, and like we had our dogs, so we were like,
oh, perfect.
So we ended up going in and getting a hotel room, which that was the first time the dogs had ever been in a hotel room, so they were like having zoomies in the room, but it was
jumping off the beds, be like, oh, this is the life we're living.
It was so expensive though. It was like $250 for that one night. Yeah, because they also charge you for like having the dogs.
Do they really? I've never taken a dog into a hotel, so I have no idea.
Yeah, it's like at least it's like $30 per pet. Yeah, so it was an extra $60.
Do they have a limit?
I don't know. I mean, we were out of both cars, but yeah, it worked out. But then that was an expensive night. But then we've also slept in the camper. We've slept in the camper a couple times. We slept in the camper in a truck stop parking lot. And I probably slept like 3 or 4 hours that night because you could just hear the tractor trailers going by our bedroom, like by our heads all night long.
Oh my God.
So that was miserable. And then there was another time that we slept in the camper and it was quiet, but it was like 90 in the camper and we had no AC because we couldn't use we figured out later that we couldn't even use the welding machine anyways because his Lincoln doesn't have a 20 amp. It's only a 15. Mm-hmm. So we couldn't even plug our camper into it. The Millers you can, but not the Lincolns.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so we just sat there like in 90-degree weather, like trying to fall asleep. And we're like,
you can't sleep when it's 90 degrees. My God, I could, dude. Yeah. So funny story about, I mean, it's really not relatable really at all, but like it makes me think so since Zach has been laid off, he sleeps in and sleeping into him is like 7 o'clock. And at 7 o'clock, our furnace goes from 66 because we sleep with it at 66. At 7 o'clock in the morning, it goes up to 70. Okay. Without a doubt, at 7 in the morning, rips the blankets off. It's hot in here. Like it's never done that before.
Oh, that's funny.
No, it's just. It'd be like, what time is it? I'm like, I'm going to bet you money it's 7 in the morning. And he goes, it's so hot. It's so hot. Like he acts like breathe.
Zach has a little bit of wrong with him.
It kills me. It makes me laugh so hard. I'm like, dude. Oh, I was going to ask you this and I completely forgot until this moment. When you guys go to different jobs, you're not going with like a group of people. It's just you two,
Yeah,
right?
so you can like there's like if multiple people want to try and get on the job, they can. So like we've been
Mhm.
working on the past 2 jobs with a good friend of ours, Josh.
Okay. Mhm.
They just both were able to get on the job, but like that's not always
Yeah.
going to be the case. And I think those two are probably going to cry when they end up getting separated. Yeah, they've become so close. They
Oh.
call each other brothers. So, but
Oh.
for the most part, you find your own work. You go to your own
Mhm.
jobs. Um,
Did
and
he
like
just does he just call a union hall, or is there no union hall for that?
no, no. Well, there is a union. There's a pipeliners union, and they can dispatch people. So like pretty much the union hall would find work for their employees.
Yes, okay, so that's why I was questioning that, because if Zach needed to find a job, he would just call the union rep and be like, "Hey, dude, I need you to find me a job.
Oh, I didn't realize he's in a
What
union.
is there?" Huh?
He's in a union?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yep. He's in the operators engineer union.
Yeah. Yeah,
Hey.
It's nice. It's nice to that, sense because
Mm-hmm.
that's their job. So like that's the whole
I
reason
don't really have to I don't worry about it. Like a lot of people would be like, "Oh my God, that's so scary." It's like, no, if his job were to dissolve today, he could literally call his union rep and be like, "Hey, what do you have that's not travel? What do you have that's, in this vicinity?" And then his rep would be like, "This is what we have." And
Yeah.
then that would be,
Yeah. I know for a
and
lot of
then,
guys in this industry, they do have to find their own work, which
Mhm.
is nerve-wracking.
That is scary. So do you have to constantly look for it? Because like you don't know how long the job is. Are you constantly like looking?
So
Like, okay,
the
well this
rule of thumb, I guess this is like a known like I guess not everyone follows it, but the rule of thumb of like what you're supposed to do, like the old fashioned way on the pipeline,
yeah.
is that you wait until the second you're laid off. When you are laid off, then you make calls. It doesn't always work out that way. Like sometimes if you have a better offer, you can what they call drag up. You can drag up and go to the other job. Sometimes you've got time off in between the jobs, like it's like I said, you have to be spontaneous
It's a lot. Yeah.
And I'm a planner,
Holy
so like it took me a long time to
Same.
get used to it.
Same.
Yeah.
It very when we first started dating, I was very like and he's been with the same company since 2016. So it's not like he gets laid off and then he goes back, but that's really his job. But if he were to lose his job, that's the reality of it. And I don't get scared by it anymore. And a lot of people are like, "That's fucking terrifying." And I'm like, no, it's not. It doesn't scare me. It shouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it can be very nerve-wracking though. Even like the whole like Christmas thing. I'm like stressing because I started planning,
Mm-hmm. For a second, his buddy just came in and they're like, "All right, back outside."
It's podcast time.
I know. I said, "Brandon, are you gonna be on my podcast?" And he's like, "Hell no."
That's funny.
He was acting. That's so funny.
That would be cool if you could get some like blue collar guys though. Wilson hates being on camera or anything.
Well, Zach has done, what did he do? 2 episodes with me?
2 episodes.
Yeah, Zach's done 2 episodes with me now. I'm so proud of him. And the last one was like an hour and a half.
Wow, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Granted, it was very like, I felt like I was interrogating him half the time. And I'm like, I just want a conversation. So what I think I'm going to do the next time I get Zach on here, I'm going to liquor him up and have him and maybe one of his buddies on it too. And then all of us like have a conversation, because then I want it to be like more natural. Like at the end of it, Zach was really like conversational.
Yeah.
But at the beginning it was like,
be on my podcast in exchange for beer and pizza or something like that.
yeah, yeah, I'll make you dinner, whatever the fuck you want me to make.
Yeah.
Tacos? Sure, no problem.
I love that. That's funny.
So why did you start making TikToks, I guess, like blue collar related? Or is it just more of you started doing it for fun kind of thing? Or Explain more on that.
Yeah, so it kind of did start as fun. I actually started on Instagram. I was doing reels. I started posting like some RV life content, and I found like a lot of people on there that were in the RV life community, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. So it was kind of for fun. I was like documenting our journey because I mean it's kind of cool what we do, you know. So,
It is cool.
so I was enjoying
Not
it.
a lot of people do that.
Right. I was enjoying it, and then
You were literally the first person I found that did that, and I was like,
really?
well, that's neat. Yes.
Oh,
And then after that, I saw all these other people, and I was like, oh,
yeah.
there's a lot.
Oh yeah, I found so many accounts now, and like they just, you know, people keep popping up. But that's the good thing about social media is like there's room for everyone, you know. But
yeah, there is.
I guess like, so one of my like ways of like attempting to make money was I was like knew of affiliate links. I knew that you could make an income by affiliate links. So like on Instagram, I would share some stuff to myself every now and then. But I was posting about RV life, and I was really enjoying it. And then I didn't find out I didn't even have a TikTok until like last fall. I was
really?
I was very against TikTok for the longest time, and I didn't even start posting on TikTok until March. So,
oh my God.
Yeah, I started posting, I want to say like in January, a little bit about RV life, but I was very inconsistent. Like I guess I was still posting like once a day, I guess, but not always. And
that's
like
a lot more consistent than a lot of people are.
Yeah. But I kind of didn't know where I was going with it, you know? And then when I found out that TikTok, actually, you can make money on TikTok, I was like, okay, maybe I'll give TikTok a try. And it took me a long time to figure it out. I hated TikTok for the longest time, and now I prefer it over Instagram. But once I figured it out,
Instagram scares the shit out of me. I give you mad props because Instagram, I don't get it.
I hear that Instagram is worse for comments. Like the people are just brutal on Instagram.
They're mean. They're mean on Instagram, and they're mean on YouTube.
Oh yeah, I get a lot of hate comments.
I've had a few on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, I just started a YouTube this week. You know, just in case of the whole TikTok ban thing.
Oh my God, me too. I know. And I'm like, okay, where do I want to live? Do I want to live on Instagram? Do I want to live on YouTube? I don't fucking know where I want to live. They're both mean.
Yeah. It's so frustrating because there's so many different apps, and like trying to keep up with them all.
I know.
Yeah. So
most of the time I'm like,
yeah, I know. So my like niche, however you say it, kind of like chose me with the blue collar stuff. And I didn't even.
Me too. Exactly the same.
Right. I didn't like plan it. So
nope.
I posted a couple things. I started posting a couple things on TikTok about RV life. And then I posted something about, and it was like one of the slideshows of like photos.
Yep.
I posted about like not having a job and like how I went with him so that we could be together, and like it was just several slides about that, you know, like about how he's providing for us right now. I think I started because I started realizing that when you post controversial stuff, your content's gonna get pushed out, which scares me because I don't want to get hate comments. But when you post,
you know what? Stuff, I have always had that thought, like, okay, it is controversial. There's a delete button and a block button, and it's my favorite button. So, bye.
That's true. Yeah. For me, like, I just stress when I see a bunch of hate comments, and I get like angry. I don't know.
No, you just gotta let it go. I have had. I can't tell you how many hate comments. I know you've seen all of your hate comments too, and I have just gotten to the point where I'm like, they are not paying my bills. I mean, they are technically. I don't have to ask for their opinion about things in my life. I don't give a shit about that. Like, you're not making me lose sleep at night by your shitty ass comment. So in reality, I don't care. Yeah. You're paying my bills. Thank you. I appreciate your hate comment.
Good rule of thumb.
Keep hating.
I hear people say that all the time. They're like, thank you for helping me get paid. You know, thank you.
I mean, it's true. It's really true. Like, you don't realize how much hate comments truly pay for you. It's so funny. Yeah. I'm like, you know what? Keep talking shit. I don't care.
The more they hate, the more your video gets pushed out. So.
And then there's so many people that are positive about it, and it's like, thank you for being kind.
Yeah.
And I will tell people that. I will message people after the fact and be like, you know, I get so many hate comments. I really appreciate your comment because of X, Y, and Z. And people are always, oh my God, thank you for reaching out. And like, they love it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like one extra little step further to just be like, thank you for being a kind human being.
Yeah.
They love it. They love it.
Yeah. So that
I don't know.
that was
Sorry.
my
I didn't mean to
first.
interrupt you. I just
No,
came
you're good.
recording.
That was my first like viral video or like slideshow thing,
Mhm.
you know, my first like viral thing that happened on TikTok. And it was like I had started out the slide saying this may ruffle some feathers. And so of course I got a ton of hate comments on it because people were like, ooh, get a job, don't rely on a man, you're lazy, all this stuff. Like,
Oh, yeah.
they went hard in my comments. But then
Mm-hmm.
so that I was like, okay, well maybe I should post like about our lifestyle, traveling, pipeline life,
Yeah.
RV life, all that. And then from there, like packing the lunch videos started doing really well. I just like finally started. It took me a long time to pay attention to analytics. But like once I finally
I
did,
love looking at analytics. It sounds so dumb, but it geeks me out. I'm like, half the time I'm like, this is interesting because of this, and this
I
is
didn't
interesting.
even like know. I didn't know what analytics were for the longest time. Like I had a video on Instagram go viral probably back in like March of me packing his lunch, and I didn't do anything with it. I didn't continue to pack his lunch like video. I pack his lunch every day, but I didn't continue to make videos right after that. Like for like I mean, I'm fairly smart, but like sometimes I'm blonde, you know. So for like that, for that,
Right, and
like,
blonde, you just can't tell right now, okay?
somebody would have thought like, oh, that video is doing really well. Let's take it and run with it. Nope, not me. It took me a long time to
Dude,
figure out.
when you're on top of that wave, just keep riding it, and yep, you'll make it eventually. It's fine. You just roll with those waves.
I figured it out eventually. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's hilarious. I feel like that's really kind of a weird, it's so weird how like algorithms work too, because I will have like a week where I'm just like, and then
Yeah.
the next week it'll be like, and then it's like, I don't know. It's just so strange how those things.
Yeah. Well, this past week has been so, I don't know if yours has been the same, but it's been so bad for me. The views are so low. And it's because it's all TikTok shop videos.
Then I have these thoughts because I had the same thought. And I'm like, Chelsea, you can't think like that because go back 6 to 8 months. Where was your shit at? Not there. Calm down.
That's true. Yeah.
Put it in a perspective like that.
My low views is still like higher than what I.
High as shit.
Right.
I know. Like 6 months ago,
Yeah.
if my views were where they are now, I would be like,
I know. But if you think
that's
about
what
it,
I
like,
think about.
leading up to Christmas, all these TikTok shop videos are getting pushed out right now.
Mm-mm.
So
They're hard. They're pushing hard.
Yeah, that's my theory as to why views are low right now.
I also think, and this is the thought that I always have in my head, can you talk to 200 people in front of you? No.
I don't like crowds. So.
I don't either. I can't do public speaking. As much as people think I can, I fucking cannot. No, ma'am, I cannot.
Yeah,
I could not, and
shaky.
I don't give a shit. If I have like fucking panic attacks. When I was in high school, no, they made me talk in front of people for presentations. I graduated with 9 people. I cannot speak in front of people. If you're like, Chelsea, make this presentation. No, I will sweat profusely. I will cry. No. But if you put my phone in front of me, I will talk to you.
I was going to say, that's
no
so
problem.
funny because you're so good on TikTok.
Nope, can't do it. No way, Jose. But then I think about it like that. Yeah, I only had 5,000 views on this. I can't talk to 5,000 people at once.
Right.
If I walked into a room and there were 5,000 people in there wanting to hear me say some shit, I'd be like, peace out, Girl Scout. There ain't no way.
Yeah.
So people are like, oh, my views are so low. Can you talk to that many people? Think about it like that.
Yeah, no. So I used to do competitive dancing, and every single morning of the dance competition, I knew it was competition day because I'd be getting sick. My stomach was
you worked yourself up that bad.
Yeah. My stomach was a wreck. I just knew, like, oh,
Wow.
today's competition day. I'm getting sick. Like without a doubt, every single morning of a competition. I hated being
You have
on
anxiety
stage.
really bad?
Yeah. I mean, it's not like bad to the point of like I don't like take anxiety medication or anything, but
Yeah,
like
me either.
I just hated being in front of people. I hated being on stage. Like I was shaking, terrified I was going to forget the
Yeah.
dance. Yeah. So definitely some anxiety there.
You know what I was thinking when I hit 50,000 followers? I had this thought in my head that I said, okay, so my first initial goal this year was to get to 10,000 followers by the end of the year. Well, that obviously, that's ridiculous. That's already gone. But then I'm like, all right, well, then it'll be 20. You know, I'm just doubling it. When I got to 50, I had this thought in my head, holy shit, 50,000 people can fill a stadium.
Holy.
You think about it like that. That's insane. 50,000 people, like even 20,000 people. That is half of a stadium. Like that is so many people. So when people are like, well, how many followers do you have? And I'm like 80 something thousand followers. They're like, what?
I know,
You
it's
don't
so
think
weird.
about it in that point. Like that's a significant amount of people. So when
Yeah.
people are like, oh, I only have 200 followers, that's 200 people that want to listen to
Yeah.
you say shit.
And I'm glad you say that because I think like a huge part of it is like a comparison game. So like to me, 34,000 followers, I'm like, oh, that doesn't seem like that much because a while ago, like I remember being like, holy crap, I'm getting to 10,000 followers. But like now I'm like, that doesn't seem like that many people because I see all these other people who are like 200,000, 500,000, a million, you know? But now that you say that, I'm like, wow, that's a lot of people.
The comparison is the thief of joy. It really is. It really is. And like,
yeah,
I also like to think about it like you have those many followers and I have as many followers as I do because we are relatable and we are people that are like just normal gals from, you know, New York and Michigan that are literally just talking shit.
I know.
You know, it's like
it's crazy to think like I don't know, like because there's some people from like high school that follow me or something, and I'm like, I wonder like if they like think I'm famous because like people will be like, oh, you're TikTok famous. I'm like, no, I'm just like a normal person.
I know. Okay, has this happened to you yet? Have you been in public? Has anybody recognized you yet? Because it's happened to me 3 times and about shit my pants.
Okay, twice it's happened to me, but they didn't come up to me there. They messaged me on TikTok and were like, hey, I saw you at Walmart today. And I was like, oh my goodness, why didn't you say hi? But like, it would feel so weird. I'd be like, ah.
I was walking. So the first time it ever happened to me, I about died. Okay. I was literally walking 2 roads away from my house.
Oh, that's
scary. Oh yeah. This girl drives up next to me. I already knew who she was. Like I followed her. She followed me, but I never saw her in real life. So like I sort of knew who she was. She lives in my town. She goes, you Chelsea? And I'm like, I don't know why.
Who's asking?
It scared the shit out of me. I was like, maybe. And she goes, I follow you on TikTok. And I'm like, oh, shit.
Oh my goodness. That is so funny.
Where do you live? And she told me the road. And I'm like, what? And like, I didn't realize that she was that close to me.
You're like, you're not stalking me, are you?
I know. Well, and she straight up said that. She's like, I'm not stalking you. I swear to God. My daycare is like right down the road. I was like, okay. But, and then the other time, I'm sorry, it only happened twice. So the second time that it happened to me, I was at an event for my tattoo artist. So I am her virtual assistant. And we're in this event, and this couple, and they're not a couple, it was a brother and a sister, a couple of people walk up to me, and this chick like looks me up and down, and she goes, "Are you on TikTok?" And I'm like, no.
No.
And I started dying laughing. She's like, Chelsea, shut up. I was like, yeah. And her brother goes, thank God you said yes. She was sitting there looking at me like, my God, I know this girl from somewhere, but I don't know what it's from. And I feel like it's the internet, but I can't tell you.
Well, the girl that messaged me that said she saw me at Walmart, I was like, please tell me I did not have an RBF because like I got bad RBF in public.
I got the worst RBF ever. And then he goes, oh yeah, she sits there and watches your videos and she's like, and he goes, all I hear is, I'm married to a blue collar man. I'm like, shut the fuck. I wanted to die. I'm like, no, you didn't. I don't know what a phone is. I don't
Yeah,
have a
and
cell
that's
phone.
that's
Like,
the thing.
I have a fucking rotary phone.
I get embarrassed. Like if somebody's like when, especially like when Wilson's watching that, and if I hear my voice, I'm like, turn it off.
Dude, before I got on podcast with you, I'm in my room and I'm filming a video and Zach is gutting our closet right now and the pantry is next, okay? He is in our bedroom and he's just standing there. And I'm like, I think you need to exit the building. Like, I can't talk. You make me laugh. You make me uncomfortable as shit. And I can't.
Yeah, I can't. See, a layoff would be so hard for me because like I cannot film in front of Wilson.
I have to close the door and hide.
A lot of times I go to the truck because like it's a camper. You only have so many places to hide.
Yeah. Brandon just left. I'm sorry.
Oh. Yeah, if I have to do like a voice.
I literally have to hide.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I tried to do a voiceover in front of Zach one time and I was like, I'm never doing this again. I hid in my pantry the last time I did one and I was like, this is so cringy. Yeah. I can't do voiceovers. Your voiceovers are great. Mine are.
Oh, thank you. I hate listening to my voice.
I can handle my voice on a regular video, but voiceovers, I'm like, Miss Ma'am, why do you sound like that? Yeah. You sound horrible.
Yeah, it sounds different when you're like sitting here in front of the camera talking versus a voiceover.
I almost wonder if it's because I have my phone like.
This is me when I do voiceovers. I'm like, for whatever reason, when I move my hands like this, it just helps me.
It does. I use my hands a lot for everything.
Yeah. I'm like, my dog's just watching me. I'm like,
God. Oh my God. Do you ever struggle with like figuring out what to film? Like, do you have content creation like brain block?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. It happens a lot. And like, it makes me feel better too, knowing that like other people have it. So I do have.
Yeah, you're not alone.
Right. I've heard so many people say it too. Like, and especially if you're in a funk, you know, I've gone through like a week before where I was in a funk and like, I just don't end up posting 3 times every day that week. And
I post once a day. If I'm in that mood, I'm just like, no.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's fine. And it actually feels good sometimes to like take a break. But I have a notes pad on my phone of ideas. I have screenshots.
Oh my God, me too.
Videos. But like sometimes
I actually have a shared note with a buddy and he puts topics in there for me. I'm like, thank you.
Oh, that's cool. But like
it makes my life so easy.
Even with all those ideas, like sometimes it's hard to, especially if you don't have something pre-filmed and like you don't have clips to put together, it can be really hard to.
And then you have to like pull it out of your ass essentially. And you're just like, I don't know how to. I'm word vomiting right now. Like there was the video that I was talking about Zach and like being like my grandfather. I filmed that like 9 times. I'm not kidding. Like, and I normally can film 1 video, 2 videos, and I'm fine. No, it was horrible. I'm like, Chelsea, get to the point. God bless it. And a lot of times I'll put it on the 10-minute mark, which I do for like all of my videos because I'm so long-winded. And I have to just be like, get to the point.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really bad about that too, about getting to the point. So like sometimes my videos will end up too long. That's why I like voiceovers because, and also it started helping me too because like I don't have time to make different content for all these apps. So I will post on TikTok and then on Instagram. So on Instagram, I can only
do the same shit.
Yeah. Instagram, I can only do 1.5 minutes. So I started doing that for TikTok so that I don't have to edit it twice.
Oh, that's smart.
Me planning for Instagram. Because then I'm like,
you are monetizing off Instagram too, right?
Well, I'm like Instagram doesn't pay, I don't think, or at least I'm not making money on Instagram yet. I think maybe like at some point you can get brand deals or something. And I just actually hit 10K not that long ago, like a few days ago on Instagram.
Is there like a certain threshold for Instagram for followers to get paid, or is that
I
like just
don't
a
know.
TikTok
See,
thing?
like that's the thing. I don't entirely know how Instagram works, but I also
I don't
don't know
either.
if you can get paid for views.
Probably not. It's probably just paid collabs or something like that. Because I
Yeah.
literally like trying to figure out Instagram. I feel like a fool trying to walk. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I'm like, this is just confusing.
See, and
Like
that's
shit
how I
that I
felt about
post that I'm like,
TikTok. Yeah. That's how I felt about TikTok when I started on TikTok. I
mhm,
was like, I don't understand this whatsoever.
no. Oh my God, trying to edit a video, it would take me like an hour and a half. And now I'm like,
Yeah, I have gotten way faster with that too.
oh my God. Yeah, I'll just put AirPods in and I'll just like edit while I'm like doing something else. I'm like, I can do this fine now, but at the beginning, hell no.
Yeah.
Stupid. All right. Well, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. I had a lot of fun talking to you.
Thanks
I
for
mean, I do
having
anyways
me.
all the time, but
I know.
all right. Thanks for hanging
Thanks for having me.
out. Bye.
Bye.